Hey people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Tonight I'm taking a look at Bandai's S.H. Figuarts Iron Man 3 Tony Stark. Now I haven't gotten a lot of the Bandai Iron Mans. The only one I have is the Captain America Civil War version. But this one was interesting because it was actually Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark, no armor on. And then of course the bonus stand that came with whatever early pre-orders. I'm not sure if future releases of this will get it. I don't know. I just want to feel special. Looking at the box, it's a little bigger because of that stand back there, and the figure actually comes with more extra pieces than what we've been seeing with the Marvel line. You get a nice view of the figure, the stand in the background, the extra pieces. At first I thought, wait a second, I thought it came with more than this, but they're hidden back behind this graphic of Stark. The side, you have kind of a pretty picture, kind of a mood lighting. Oh, Robert Downey Jr., you're so dreamy. On the back, pretty pictures, the pose where the pieces flew at him, then the parts actually hitting him. Then down here is the unreadables. It probably says something like, enjoy holding a genius philanthropist billionaire in the palm of your hand. On the other side, just kind of, it says Tony Stark, kind of hard to read. Top, same thing. Bottom, same thing. But I'm going to get this open and see how he compares with the rest of the line. Now the stand itself, it does require some assembly. It looks like you just snap the pieces together. There's pegs on the back here. Then it goes into the peg holes. Pretty simple. It's just acts like it doesn't, oh, well, there is a lock to it. So there is a snap to it. You get the ring, and then this goes in the center on the pegs there. And not bad. That's bigger than I thought it'd be. Looks like there should be lights here, but that's probably asking for a little too much. These kind of look like there should be lights there too. Not should. There could be lights there. But for a little free add-in, I like this. This is going to eat a lot of shelf space, especially if you just have Stark standing in the middle. There we go, all out of the package. And surprise, surprise, I like this figure. It's a nice representation of Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark in Iron Man 3. And really, if you're not super picky about it, he could fit into any display. Your Age of Ultron, your Captain America Civil War. And for that look, this is a good sculpt. It's got the pants wrinkles, the shoes have the little laces on them. The shirt, it's nice up top with its kind of carbon fiber design to it. The chest piece, the arc reactor, it could look like it's glowing a little bit more than it actually does. It's kind of a painted detail as it is. But the big draw here for me was the Figuarts head, the face printing technology that they use. And it does a really good job here. The face printing thing, it's not always 100%, but here, at least when you add a little bit of shadow from pictures and that kind of thing, it looks almost dead on. And I know a lot of people gripe about the printing technology. You get up super close, you take pictures with macro, just full on light. You can see the little pixels, it looks a little bit blown out, it looks a little bit rough. But just normal handling and looking at it on the shelf. Of course, I'm getting a little bit old, my eyesight isn't what it used to be, but for the most part, you can't see that in person. Normal environment, it looks great. One of the things that is getting to me, for the most part, you have to really fiddle with them to get them to stand exactly straight up. In the package, he had his hip kicked, and then he was like this, kind of the, this stance. And it took a minute for everything to straighten out. It's almost like this piece, this is a rubber overlay of the legs. It almost seemed like that piece was stuck in that position for a minute. But the more I've messed with it, the more it seems like it's evening out. It still feels like the right leg is slightly longer, but I can at least get him in a pretty straight stand-up stance. Like I said, the crotch piece here is a rubber overlay piece. It's to allow a lot of articulation. Now, it may look weird because the leg actually bends a little further down than a normal human, but it's not super noticeable. Now, I talked about the 3D printing on the face, and like I said, for the most part, it looks pretty damn close to Tony Stark. You get underneath, though, and the beard's missing here. I don't know if his actual facial hair is like that in the movie. I've never paid that close attention to it, but you can see up underneath there that it just kind of stops on the undercut. Now for articulation, you have a ball up at the top of the neck, under the skull, and then at the bottom of the neck going down into the torso. So you can get a good range of movement here, lots of side to side, down, up, not so much. Shoulder, you have a ball going into the torso with that cup piece coming out to hide it. And it doesn't really hinder here. You can get forward and back. You can get some up and down. Get out, and then swivels around. You have a ball joint at the elbow with a swivel at the top and bottom, so gets up good range because of how open it is. And then you have swivel there. Ball at the wrist that you can set to go up and down, side to side, wherever you want to go. And then there's swivel. Ball at mid-torso, you get a good range of movement there. Then the same thing at the waist, you get a range of movement there. The rubber piece for the pants does get in the way sometimes. Like right there, it's catching when I try to go to the right. You got to push it up under there and then move even further. But both of those together, you get a good range of movement. Like in real life, you have to keep an eye on your pants there. Ball joint at the hip, there's no shift up and down here because really it goes from here down to here with just one piece. So there's not a lot of extra engineering up in there, but it's a ball joint. You can get out pretty much all the way. You get forward, you get back, you get swivel on that joint. At the knees, it's kind of a swivel joint, but mostly it's a hinge. Hinges back about that far. You have a swivel at the shoe. You can get some rotation there. Hinge back, not so much because of the pant sculpt. Forward, okay. You have some rocker, and then a toe joint at the end of the shoe. Now you get a good amount of accessories here. That's another big draw of this figure. You get 2 fists, you get 2 karate chop hands or salute hands, whatever you want to use them for, and then 2 open hands to grip stuff. But there's nothing in this set to hold. I'm not quite sure why these were added. And then you get the Iron Man parts. You get 2 open hands, and these can attach either at the wrist or onto the Iron Man forearm. There's that with the 2 fisted Iron Man hands. And then you get the lower legs from knee to foot. And to switch these out, you can either pull at the hand. Most of the hands here, pretty easy to pull, and then they pop on. These are a little bit tougher because there's no cup to the hole, so the ball joint tries to run away from you when you're trying to stick it on there. And once you get it on there, it does look kind of weird because it looks like there's nothing there because, like I said, there's no insert up into the hand. It just dead stops at a flat plane. The other place you can pull is at the elbow. There's not a lot of mushroom head to this, so it's a pretty easy insert there, pops on and off. And then the Iron Man forearm, which is marked up in there. There is an R there, so you don't put them on the wrong side. That just pops right on. And the Iron Man hand doesn't look as weird here because it's also flat on the end. Now the legs, they're a little bit trickier. They are a little bit tighter on there. There's more head to the pin itself. And as you can see, there's a little bit more height to the armored leg. And also pointing out, it's got some scuffs here. I chalk it up to battle damage on the armor itself, you know, but basically that's scraped off paint there and there. Yeah, it came out of the package like that. I haven't noticed that on a lot of other pieces, but it's really noticeable right there. Now it is tougher to get the legs on than it is the arms, so what I've been doing is start it, and the instructions say to keep it straight and push, but if you come here, you can push directly on the joint into the leg, and it seems like an easier push there. And there you can see just how much longer the armor piece is than the standard leg, which comes into play here in a minute when we do the comparisons. Here's Tony with the armored pieces on the legs next to the Captain America Civil War Captain America. They're almost the same height. You expect Tony to be a little bit smaller because he's not a super soldier without the armor on. He's not supposed to be as bulked up. This works for me. Here he is with Ant-Man, another just, I picture in my head an average guy with a suit that gives him powers. And then next to Black Widow. And then here he is with the Mark 46, I think it's Mark 46, is the Civil War version of Iron Man. And then with the Marvel Legends Iron Man, if you wanted to slip this into your Marvel Legends movie display. But take the armored pieces off his legs and things change a little bit. Here he is with Captain America and he seems short. It's weird just changing those 2 pieces and it changing this drastically. Here he is with Ant-Man and Scarlet Witch. Again, his height has been brought down a lot. And then with the 2 Iron Man figures I had compared before. So at the end of the day, this figure is exactly what I wanted it to be. It's a good representation of Tony Stark from the movies. Specifically Iron Man 3, but like I said, it could work in any display, I think. The switch out armor pieces is a nice little gimmick. It adds to the figure. It gives you a little bit more bang for your buck, and it's nifty. I like it. I like switching them out. Unfortunately, I don't have the Mark 42. I believe it's the Mark 42 that is the pieces here. I'm sitting here trying to remember all these different versions. Can't do it. As soon as I walk away from the camera, I'll remember them all off the top of my head. But really, this makes me want to go out and get more armors, which is good because they're coming out with more armors. They're coming out with the Hall of Armor boxes, the display cases for the first 6 or 7 armors. But with so much stuff, I may just call it good with Tony. With all the cool stuff coming from Bandai in the S.H. Figuarts line, or the model kit line, or several different import companies, it's hard to keep up. It's hard to just maintain a display, and that means making some sacrifices. Of course, that means saving a little bit of money, but whoever liked money? We like to trade it away for plastic. And this piece of plastic right here, I think it's worth it. So you're for wanting a good Tony Stark for your display, this is it. This is probably the end-all be-all 6-inch scale Tony Stark from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If you like the review, comment, like, subscribe. I'll catch you on the Fwoosh.